everyone. Welcome to Merch Money. Today, there's Chris Green. We got Chris Green on today, the one and only. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You don't need any introduction. Everybody knows you. We, for those that didn't see, we did have a show with Chris. I guess it was last year. It was a while ago. No, maybe at the beginning of this year. It was. You could check that episode out. But I reached out to Chris because I saw some of his posts in some of the other in his merch group about doing having the customer actually request design. So that's what kind of prompted this whole show. So we'll see lots of stuff to talk about today.
There's some really cool things, and it's a little bit along the lines of like I don't want to think that I invented any of this stuff, but like you guys have probably had members of your Facebook group, or you've seen it elsewhere, where people say, hey, you know what I like to do? I like to just have people tell me what they want.
Yeah.
And like people would say, look, I'll post 2 images on my Facebook, or on Instagram, and I'll get my family, my friends, whatever audience I have through social media to tell me what they like, and then I'll make it and go back to them, which you can do because of Merch by Amazon and print on demand, which means like you can kind of sense out the demand before investing in any inventory. And of course, there's no actual inventory anyway, but now we don't even want to waste our time and money on making a design and spending time uploading it and writing descriptions and titles and keywords and then putting it out to the world and be like, hey, anybody want this? Because like I think maybe you do, because I did some research and I personally like it, but I don't know if anybody else does. It's like you can do that, and it's fun, and it's a lot better now because it doesn't cost money. You don't have to buy 1,000 shirts and like really cross your fingers. But now it's like, wait a minute, before you do that, why don't I just have them tell you what kind of designs they want, or give them a few to pick from, and then when they pick, then you do that work, because then you kind of gauge that design or that demand that, okay, I know some people are actually going to buy this, or you really hope so. If they're all saying they want it, some of them are actually going to buy it.
It's so funny how it's like this simple thing sometimes. Like sometimes we forget, just like ask your customer, what do they want? Or your audience or whoever.
I think there's an old Steve Jobs quote where he used to, of course, Steve Jobs passed away like 10 years ago or something.
Oh my gosh, has it really been that long? It's crazy. Time is too fast.
Well, things have just changed, because his quote was, don't ask the customer what they want, because by the time they tell you and you make it, they'll have moved on and they want something else. So that was kind of an Apple strategy to say, look, we're going to make what we just think are awesome devices, right?
Yeah,
so they made
an
iPhone to be like, we really think people are going to love this because we love this, right? Now, it's not an exact analogy, but because of the time it took to get to market and all these things, like wait, well, that was kind of true back then. I would stand that is not true today. You can let the customer tell you what they want, and you can make it for them in like 20 minutes, right? Like, no, we're not talking about building electronic devices, and we're talking about like uploading designs. So if someone says, I would totally buy a design with this political slogan on it that just the president just tweeted, be like, no problem. Link. Like, you can totally do that. You can listen for demand as well as say, hey, what political slogans do you want to see on shirts? Anything.
Yeah, I think we tend to just overcomplicate things. I mean, there is a place for being innovative and creative and all of that, but there's also a place of like, okay, what does the customer want? Just give it to them.
Just ask them. They'll tell you what they want. And if they say they want it and then they don't actually want it, again, you haven't invested like a lot of time and money into it. So it's not like, oh, shoot, I lost again. I can't afford to keep losing like this.
Yeah.
Like, no, it takes a little bit of time as you get better with designing. You can design super fast. But I do think that people overthink this business.
Yes.
And I go way back, right? Like, I've been in this. It's hard to believe I've been in this game for over 20 years.
What? Oh my gosh! I found 90s, I found you in 2014 is when I first found out about you with FBA, and then you're the one who
told. 90s. It was just a different world back then. Especially in this way, and these are like the examples I like to use to kind of frame it up. It used to be, if you wanted to resell, like from retail, before we called it retail arbitrage, you had to like go to the store, write things down, write down prices, go home, do some research, and go back. Because this was like barely cell phones.
Aren't you the one that called it retail arbitrage?
Yeah, I invented the term.
You invented. I think that is amazing. You invented.
I didn't invent the business though. I won't take credit for that. People have been flipping since Cabbage Patch Dolls. But I remember going to Kmart.
Name, like I don't think I would have thought of that.
I used to call it retail for resale.
Oh, that's good too.
But it kind of became, it really happened when FBA came out and iPhones and apps came out and 4G, and it was like you can really kind of do this for anything. So you kind of need like an all-encompassing term. So arbitrage was kind of like the all-encompassing term. Then retail, online, people have added all these extra prefixes to it. But if you think about how hard it used to be to sell, where like you had to write stuff down and go home and look it up and then drive back to the store and all this stuff, to where now if you want to sell, you have sales histories and sales ranks and mobile apps and all these extra things. And it's the same for print on demand. It's like you don't realize how hard it used to be to sell shirts and apparel.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it used to be really hard, and like you didn't know what people wanted. You couldn't search social media for what people were talking about.
We had this guy, Philip Van Duzen, on the show, and he was a VP of design at Old Navy. But before he did that, he had done a t-shirt business way before like what you're talking about, like 20, 30 years ago. And he gave up. Like it was too hard because he was trying to sell shirts on the street, basically.
Well, I did that when the Mavs, I was living in Dallas. The Dallas Mavericks were in the finals in 2007. They lost the finals. Yeah. But I saw a sign. We were watching the playoffs. I saw a sign. Someone was holding it up, and it was a kind of a spin on a LeBron James ad campaign that said "witness," right? Like we're all witnesses to LeBron James. Now Grady is. But the Mavericks had Dirk Nowitzki, so someone made a sign called "Nowitzness" with like kind of the spelling of his name. And I was like, that's a really good like kind of play on the name because it's a big, huge Nike campaign, so it'd be real kind of obvious. And of course, it didn't break any like trademark or copyright. Right. So I actually registered the domain. I set up a little.
We got to talk about that too.
I was quick on it, right? Like you don't have to be quick, but you have to take action, right? So I grabbed the domain. Noticed,
Chris Green is quick on everything, takes action on everything, buys domains. So we have Chris to thank for merchmoney.com. He gave that to us. He had already bought it in 2016. I didn't think about starting Merch Money until 2018. So he was a full 2 years ahead of me.
We can talk domains. That might actually be an interesting thing to talk about. Actually, after we talk about kind of shifting demand. But what I did with those with that Nowitzness business is I had a t-shirt shop. This was one of the first things I did after quitting like my last real job. And I went and I had all these t-shirts made up, and I made all the classic mistakes. So I had white, blue, and green made up, and I had men's and women's sizes made up.
Forgot about black.
What I mean, the Mavs colors were blue and green.
Oh! Sorry, I wasn't thinking about that.
So I was trying to walk the line a little bit. Okay. I knew I was walking the line, but I also knew I wasn't breaking any rules. So I had all these shirts, but I had men's sizes and women's sizes, and I was selling them online. And I got like with Google checkout, like because there was nothing else back then. Yeah. So I set up a quick Google store, and actually we went down. I forget if it's American Airlines Center or American Airlines Arena, whatever the one is in Dallas. And we were like carrying 50 t-shirts over our shoulders, and we're like trying to sell them on the street. And like you're totally not allowed to do that. We totally broke rules on that.
I did not know you did shirts before merch. I thought that you
way back. Oh, I think it's good though, because like I know how it used to be. I know minimum order quantities. I know having these boxes full of this is my child's medium box, and there's 4 in there. Okay, I sold 1. Okay, now I got to scribble it out. Only got 3 left.
Oh yeah.
I finally gave them all away at the end. I was like, just get rid of it. We're done. I'll never touch t-shirts again. And then merch comes out. I'm like, oh, I'm back in this game. Like, because it's just print on demand. It's easy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's attractive. And again, people don't know how hard it used to be, right? Whether you're a seller or you're doing merch by Amazon, to be like, wait a minute, I can literally set up a site and send it to the teachers at my kid's school. And then if they want to upload it or make a design for their fundraiser, I'll just send them the link. Like that sounds too easy. Like why would anybody do that?
Complicate this a little bit.
And it's an overthinking thing, And I think part of it is, it's probably probably one of the things that the people like myself and that you guys do here on this podcast is like try to simplify everything for people, as well as encourage, give the confidence, give the permission, whatever it is that people need to like really kind of have it click in their head. Be like, oh, I get it now. That is really simple. I would use that. And if I would use it, other people would use it. Be like, yeah, I'm like, I have that moment with people on the phone all the time. I'm like, yes, like now you get it. Okay, good. Now go do it. Like, it's helping people kind of deconstruct whatever it is that's holding them back. And often it's just a case of this sounds too good to be true. This sounds easier than it should be. Like, will I actually make money? Like, that seems like I shouldn't get paid for not doing a lot of work. And I think it's like a mindset of like your payment should be like directly correlated to the amount of work you put in, right?
Yeah.
Like a trading time for dollars mentality instead of like it's a trading value for dollars, right? If you can bring value to people, and with the internet and technology, you're able to bring value, a lot of value, to not just a few people, to a lot of people in many, many different ways. And you can think of that as your business. Okay, how do I provide value to some people, right? And start there, and then be like, okay, now how can I provide more value to those people? Or how can I provide that same value to more people? Or how can I provide more value to more people? And that's where you get really big and you can make a lot of money.
Yeah, that's the main thing to focus. How can you provide value? So that goes along with like asking the customer what they want. Like, how you want to make your customer happy. And I think I fall into that too, where it's like you get caught up in the other stuff. Like, oh, I need to upload X amount of shirts today, or I need to do this.
Forget this. It's not related to profit at all. The number of shirts you upload is not related statistically to literally anything.
Exactly. But we tend to, other people other than me tend to fall into stuff like that. And so we have to remember, like, no, you just think about what does the customer want and give them what they want.
Yeah. So we should talk about this new site because it's something other people can use. It's not I've had this idea since merch first came out, and I had some prototype sites and I tested this, and there are so many different ways that you can use merch by Amazon and these print-on-demand platforms that this one kind of got like, all right, I'm not gonna spend any time on that. And then I kind of just revisited it, and I was like, we got to do this because this is just too easy. And I like to do things where, I mean, I guess calling it double down is a good way to describe it, because I want to do things that work not just for me, but then that other people can do as well. Yeah. Right. So say, hey, I'm going to make this site, and I think people should absolutely follow along exactly what we're doing, because I think we're doing this right in front of people.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't want people to think that there's like some kind of wall between like, oh, these guys are like the merch, masters and podcasters and all these things. Like, you guys can do literally everything we're talking about. You can do yourself, or you can come on as a partner or as an affiliate, or it doesn't matter. So the idea was to say, look, instead of me making designs and putting them out there and hoping I'm making what people want, it's like, let's let customers design their own shirts, right? So all of these like designers and plugins and embeddable things like Make Merch, and Merch Informer has one, Merch Designer, like all these things. Like, let's make a site that's really geared towards, hey, make your own design, send it to us, and then within 24 hours, we're going to send you a link where you can buy your design on 21 different colors in men's, women's, and youth sizes for $19.99, free Prime shipping, free returns. Like you're really promoting it like an Amazon listing, because you don't care if you get returns.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Like, it's all gonna wash out. If they keep them, you're gonna get paid. If they don't, you're not gonna get paid the way it should be. And just put that out there. So Dan from makemerch.com, make-merch.com is their website. They had a kind of a light version of their designer, so they kind of embedded it into a page. I went and got the website primeshirts.com. It's just a simple redirect. If you guys are really interested in the domains and how that works, it's just a redirect in GoDaddy. It cost me $0. It cost me $8 for the domain, but $0 to forward it. Goes to the website, and the customer can design a shirt. Right now, it's got like a little checkout on it because Dan didn't want people like kind of going crazy on it. I didn't think they would. I think like maybe 20 people ordered shirts kind of as a test. And they can use the designer themselves, make whatever they want. They can upload their own image. So imagine kids at school where they took like some viral picture of their friend and like, oh, dude, we got to put this on t-shirt. They upload it. And then 24 hours later, they have an Amazon link where anybody at the school can buy it. They can share it on social media. You can do anything that you want, because what's going to happen is I'm going to get the file, right? It's not I'm signing up for a design service where I make designs, then I download my own designs and all this. It's like, no, I'm going to go to primeshirts.com, design a site, and it's going to go to you.
Companies to upload their logo or whatever else. Like, it's so
it's perfect for like like local merch kind of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Anybody that attends a church or a school or a fundraiser or an organization. I play
Family reunion, anything.
anything. I play in several volleyball leagues around here, and
Yep.
I'm kind of a tall guy, so like our teams usually end up winning. And they usually give T-shirts at the end, and like I know they're not using merch by Amazon, right? They're ordering, and they're like, oh, we don't have any of that size left. I got to go back and order one more. Like all this nonsense. I'm like, God, you guys should be using merch. But I can give them my link. Go to primeshirts.com, make a volleyball shirt, and for the league. That way they kind of own it, they control it. It's not like me coming in kind of taking that away from them.
So
they
basically you would give a link to your customer in some way, like online or however. They would make their design upload their design, and then you would send them a link to the Amazon link.
Of course.
Or how would it work? Yeah.
I mean, the power is in the designer, right? Like if you give them a basic, super crappy designer and they can't really do anything with it, then it's not going to have a lot to go with it. Like Jacob Topping's here, and he's pointing out, So some of these other sites have like a basic designer in there because they want customers to come here or come to their site, make a design, upload it, and then they can buy it. So the big difference in this is, wait a minute, now I have all these design assets. I have all of these. I mean, we can add templates. We can do all kinds of different things to kind of help the customer make something quality. But then it's going straight back to Amazon. So it's going to be Prime eligible shipping, free returns, and you're earning the royalties.
Yeah.
Right. And you can set the price wherever you want. You can go $24.99. You can do whatever you want. And you can also say, look, because now you're gonna have their customer information. So you can write back and be like, hey, great design, got to upload it. Here's your link. We also have design services, and you could I would do this. If you had someone like request a design or submit a design, and you're like, whoa, this is like the city of New York, right? This could be a big client. Then you actually make a professional design for them at your expense, and then email them and say, hey, thanks for signing up. I had one of our in-house artists make this for you if you guys like it. And they'll be like, wow, that's really good. That's awesome. Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
And then now they send that link out to everybody in the human services department. Like, once you have like people who are showing you they're interested, then provide them value, right? Like, and just sit there.
Basic, but those are the steps people miss because they do exactly what was asked and no more. So it's like, oh, you want this design? Here you go. Here's this exact one thing you asked for. But
people overthink
you add and think more. Like, what do they really want? Oh, they probably really want this also in a nicer, better design.
Yeah, that's one of those things. You're probably gonna get some designs coming in that are like, I mean, sure, I'll upload it for you. It doesn't look great. But again, don't overthink that. That's what the customer wants. That's fine. You are going to have to be the last line of defense when it comes to trademark and copyright, which is a common question that I got when I posted it. Is people are like, well, what about trademark copyright? Well, that's on me, right? So if someone uploads Ninja Turtles, I got to write them back and be like, hey, sorry, thanks so much for signing up, but we can't use Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. And I'm sure you put some kind of disclaimer on your site, like, Yeah,
there's a disclaimer on there. Like,
we'll can't be trademarked or copyright or anything.
Yeah, and you could really put in some legal jargon in there that says, hey, I mean, I don't know if you could actually pass the buck. I mean, you can't pass the buck because Amazon's going to ultimately say you uploaded it to your account. But you could I would put in something that says, hey, by submitting a design, you are assuring us that you have legal rights to everything in your design, which might scare off people from intentionally uploading Ninja Turtles. I would guess that most people wouldn't do that on purpose. They just wouldn't know. I mean, you've seen the merch community. Hey, why can't I use Superman? I thought it was cool. Like, and a lot of people jump and they get all nasty. I think a lot of people just they're not familiar with copyright law and trademark law.
I just don't know. People err on both sides. Like, for the longest time, I didn't realize we could do like presidents and things like that. I was like, I don't know, like something like a Trump shirt. I was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. But
it's still kind of dicey on. I mean,
so
legally it could go both ways on.
I erred on the too careful side, but a lot of people err on the not careful enough side. Let's see, we got some questions. Lonnie's asking, so how does the user know who bought it on Amazon from your merch account? I guess then I don't know if I'm understanding exactly her question, but my question would be like, would you just do a private link to send to the customer and then take it down after they bought it? Or would you now own it and be able to sell it to anyone?
I would just upload. I mean, I'd probably give them the option to say, look, do you want this public or private? Because, maybe it's a school teacher, maybe it's got, contact information that they don't want public. So you could say, look, we'll give you a private link or a public link. But I don't see why you would ever take it down.
Yeah. Well,
right?
I just don't know if like they would feel like they owned it or something, like that's my kid or that's my dog or that's my whatever, something that they feel like is their design or their property. And now if other people are buying it.
I think we're worrying about things that aren't really going to happen.
Too far, yeah.
Are you going to order a t-shirt with someone else's dog on it? Right? Like that's not going to happen. I think what she's asking, does the user know who bought it on? So this is what we're flipping everything around. So it's like, who's the user? Is the user the person who owns merchshirts.com, or is the user whoever uploaded the design to merchshirts.com? So whoever uploads the design, they're not going to know who bought it.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're going to buy it. And if they share that link with somebody, especially if it's for a group or an organization or a team, I guess they'll know. They could ask who all bought it. But you're going to see your merch account, which they're never going to see. It's not their business. Hey, we sold 17 of those for that fundraiser. Well, fundraiser isn't a good one, because if you're claiming a fundraiser, you should. You have to divvy up the funds. But if it's for like a family reunion or a school team or like what you're doing is you're providing a service. You're saying, hey, look, you can use our designer. You can make some great looking stuff. And this is where I say offer templates, offer examples. Say, hey, you like this volleyball shirt that we made up? We can just slap, your name on it, this year. And we can say, county champions, whatever you want, on a good looking design. Mm-hmm. And that's where I would say, go next level. Get a Design Pickle account and start having them make quality designs that you can then repurpose and sell over and over again, because now they're your designs. And I wouldn't even call them designs. I would call them templates. Yeah. You want to make a design template that people can use. And you might wait until you get some orders and say, look, I'm getting a lot of orders from school teams. So you know what? I want to have a basketball and a volleyball and a soccer and a field hockey and all these things.
Or like graduation shirts or something.
Graduate. All right. You want to do a test?
Sure.
Wait, I'm gonna message you first in case you want it. This is really good.
No. I always give away all ideas. Don't worry. This could be an idea for everyone.
All right. So I just sent you Facebook.
Do it.
I don't have it. I think somebody should. There's a great name out there that someone should register, and then you make a Facebook page specifically for it. I mean, how hard would it be in June to go on Facebook and find people who are graduating?
Yeah.
Like imagine 20 years ago with no social media. We're like, how are we going to get our message? We have this amazing site. We know all these people who are graduating would love to make some designs and some t-shirts with it. How are we going to let them know about it? You got to go to the schools. You got to make signs. You didn't have you just search Twitter. Who's graduating? Like, it's just
Facebook
right there.
ads. That's a whole nother thing. It can be so targeted. Like I would get ads where it's like Jersey girl in a Virginia world, because it's like I used to live in New Jersey and then now I live in Virginia. It's like so specific to me. I'm like, oh my God, these things are like so crazy how much they know about you.
It is. And right now the ads, the attention, you're basically buying attention, and buying that attention is underpriced. Which if you say something's underpriced, it actually should cost more. I mean, that's not even the point, because the price isn't going to change overnight, but the price is going to change, and it's only going to go one way, and that's up. So the cheapest ads you'll ever buy are today. And you can say that every day for the foreseeable future, that they're only going to go up. Yeah. So it's worth it to learn how to do some Facebook ads. I mean, it's worth it to learn how to create a Facebook page. And this is the cool thing about Facebook. They want your ad money to the point that they will get you on the phone. They will talk to you. They will do screen share. They will show you how to set up ads. They will show you how to target. They'll say, what do you want to target? And we'll create an ad right now. And they'll do it with you for free. Why? Yeah. Because they want you to run ads, and they want you to run successful ads. Because if your ad's successful, you're going to keep coming back and spending more money on ads. So it's a good loop, not Facebook just wants me to spend money. It's like, yeah, what they want more is for you to get the leads and the goals of your ad campaign. That's what they really want, because then they get paid on the back end of that.
Yeah.
It's amazing times we live. It's almost too good, and this is what comes back to, people get overwhelmed with information. They're like, what should I do? I just heard about this and I was already doing this, and now Helen and Chris are talking about this, and I get it. And it's sometimes you just have to write down all the things you want to do, all the things you think are great ideas, all the things you think are going to be fun, all the things you think are going to make you some money, and kind of put them in a list and put the best ones at the top and work on those, and look at the ones on the bottom and say, I ain't got time to get to those right now. And be okay with that, because you can always come back to them, right? Maybe the ones on your list shouldn't be at the top, and it's going to take you 2 weeks to figure out, nope, I shouldn't be doing that completely. You can't get that time back, so don't worry about it. So take it off, put that at the bottom of the list, and bring something else up to the top. You got to be okay with that fear of missing out, of like, oh, but I should be spending time on this, and oh, Christina said this, and Helen said this. It's like, we're throwing a lot at you guys. But you got to kind of be able to whittle it down and say, this is what's best for me. Because with merch by Amazon, this is like, from day one when I saw this, I was like, this is going to be an absolute monster platform. Because this is royalty generating physical products on Amazon. So when these things sell, you make money without doing any work. And then step back and be like, all right, how can I use this? Right? Is there a need for software to make designs? Is there need for a Facebook ads class specifically for promoting apparel? Is there where you can plug yourself in anywhere?
Talking to you like this right now, because it's like, I remember when you were merch first came out and you were so excited talking about it, and I feel like everything came to fruition. Like, it's exactly what you said it would be, like, even better. It's growing, and I'm sure there's so much coming down the pipe. It's going to keep growing. So it's so cool to see it all happen. And
I wish I was more of like a genie, or like, seeing the future. Because it's not like it happened in spite of me, not because of me, in spite of me. And, without getting into too many specific details, it could have not happened. Right. Just because it happened didn't mean I was right. Like, I would have said all those things, and merch could have shut its doors. Merch could have said, hey, we're only taking people that sell 1,000 shirts a month, or and that's it. We just don't have the bandwidth to deal with, the small creators.
There was a few times where I was like, are they going to do this or not? Like, it did seem like they weren't quite sure, but it feels like now they're definitely doing it.
They're committed to it now. But it's a huge moneymaker for them. And I don't say profit maker. Amazon generally likes to keep their margins very low. I didn't believe this when I first started getting into Amazon, but I believe it now, and I tell everybody that'll listen. When Amazon says they put the customer first, they absolutely mean it. Like, to a fault. They don't care about us. They don't care about the sellers. They don't care about the vendors. Put the
technology and the infrastructure and all of that first too. Like, they're very long-term thinking, which is what I've always loved about Amazon and Jeff Bezos. I'm so nervous for whenever Jeff Bezos stops leading that company. That's like my biggest fear.
I don't think he's looking to get out.
I don't know.
But Amazon, they put customer first, but like you said, they invest in technology and all these forward-thinking things. And that's a way of saying there actually is something that they put before the customer, and that's Amazon. They put themselves first, but only because if they're not in business, they can't serve the customers, right? So the customer is absolutely first. And everything that they do can kind of be tracked back towards that. So when they're they're selling a bunch of shirts, and they're investing in new equipment and new products and international expansion and all these things, they're not doing it to make more money. They're doing it because they want more market share. If they're making too much money, they'll lower fees. Right?
I know.
But they're not gonna lose money though. So like, when those fees go up,
they're so smart. Because the other reason is they don't want competitors to be able to compete. So if they're making too much money, there's too much room in there for a competitor to also come in. So they keep it so small so that no one can get there except for them.
No, that's another Jeff Bezos quote where he says, "Your margin is my opportunity."
Yes, I love that quote.
People get all bent out of shape, like, "Oh, Amazon's coming for this." Like, dude, if you're making 180% margin on something, Amazon's going to come in and say, "You know what? we think the customer could benefit from a lower price.
Yeah.
And what's your rebuttal to that? To be like,
yeah.
no, we don't think they should. Screw those guys. Like, you get what? Like, screw the customer? Like, are you kidding? Like, how is that a business?
And he's been doing this for like 20, 30 years, however many years it's been, 20 years at least. And everybody's been seeing the whole thing. Like, any of these other companies could have been following his leadership for these whole 20 years, but instead he's just been criticized, and investors have criticized, everyone's criticized him. And it's like, well, not like you all didn't see this happening for 20 years now.
Well, that's part of the thing. Like we said a little earlier here on the show, is like a lot of stuff that I do, I say it, and I don't mean to say this in like an arrogant way. I know it might come across that way, but I do say, like, I'm doing this right in front of you guys.
I know.
And I say it on purpose because I make this up as I go, right? I didn't mean to be this kind of entrepreneur side hustle guru. It's just, I just like doing this stuff. Right. And then with social media, it's like, oh, I can like do it publicly and help people and build a network, and like it's fun. But I don't actually know what I'm doing, right? So when I do these things, and I like to say things over and over and over again, then you can look back and be like either you were right or you were wrong. I don't mind being wrong.
No.
But on merch,
I've been posted just now from Gary Vee about like, you're playing the game. Like, who cares if somebody thinks you're right or wrong? Like, you're in it. They're watching.
It was a good point. So the post was kind of about athletes don't read their Twitter comment. At least they shouldn't. You know, I really hope they don't, because you can imagine like when Kevin Durant misses like a last second shot and loses the game, and everybody's on there like, oh, you suck, Durant. Like why would he subject himself to that, right? Like, he's the one playing the game. He literally does not care what anyone else is saying. And people got to think that way, to be like, I'm just going to do what I want to do and not worry about what other people are saying, because they're in the seats, right? They're not on the court playing. So, but you got to tune it out, because I've been there, and I certainly understand how, if people are feeling attacked, or if there's drama, or if people think that they have haters, I certainly see how that can affect people negatively. I can certainly understand if people have trouble kind of blocking it out and dealing with it. But once you overcome it,
you have to be able to. It's like,
well, not everybody can, right? Not everybody has that thick skin. There's a lot of people who have quit. They be like, look, I ain't putting myself back out there, because last time I did, this is what happened. And that sucks.
That is true.
So I mean, you got to call those bullies out and say, look, this is not acceptable. But at the same time, you can also just tune them out. Be like, hey, look, if I'm not what you want and you're not willing to block me, I'm going to block you.
Yeah.
Because I ain't got time to try to convince. Don't try to convince people that what you're saying is right. It's like trying to sell to the unsellable.
Yeah, no, I don't do that.
Like, why bother? But I think more people should take control of their social media, to be like, I don't like seeing these people. I don't like these groups. I don't like, so stop. Like, you could, and not just like block on Facebook. You can like they have little programs, extensions where you say, look, I want to block YouTube because it's distracting. I don't want to see anything on this site. Yeah. You can control these things. And then once you do, and you realize you're not missing anything, it's very freeing. Yeah. But this is the example I was trying to get to, is over the past 3 years of merch, I've been telling people constantly that the biggest play with merch is to find ways to use merch to help other people. Whether that's making courses, whether that's making podcasts, whether that's making design programs. I still want somebody to make an absolute awesome app specifically for making merch designs, right? Like, one doesn't really exist.
All right, software developers and app developers.
I mean, they have some out there, but they're not made for 4,500 by 5,400 transparent PNG files. They're not made for me to use and email the file to myself. There are some t-shirt companies that have made them say, yeah, make this t-shirt or design a t-shirt, send it to us, and we'll make it for you for $45 or something. It's like, and hey, if they can get their business, that's one thing. But I'm like, no, like switch it back, kind of going the other way. Yeah.
Well, I use the Youre app, and you're the one who showed me how to do that with your videos. But that's close.
Over's even better now, right? That was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yep. I still share those videos, because I don't think anybody's really done ones since then. I haven't made them.
I need to update them with, how to like buy files off of Creative Market and then put them in your Google Drive so you can access them in your Over app. And it's just enough steps that people get lost.
Yes.
So it's like
You gotta
I
do
almost
step by step. Oh my gosh, it was so funny when Merch Wizard came out and I was doing videos because it was so, I was just like, it's so surreal. Just even like talking to you is surreal, but doing videos on using a software is like the farthest thing for me ever because I'm so bad with technology and bad with everything. And I was like making these videos and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I'm the one who has to explain step by step how to do something, like what is the world coming to? But
there are some people who would rather learn from you
yes.
Then learn from me, then learn from the
Yeah.
people who run Merch Wizard because they're gonna be like, oh, they just want to sell it. Like
It was one of those like weird things where you realize it's actually a strength. Like it's one of my biggest weaknesses, but it turned out to be a strength because it's like I'm able to like people who are really good with this, they can't understand how to explain it to someone who's not because they're like, what do you mean? Like you just push this and this and this and like they don't even know how to explain it slowly. It's like I don't even understand what you don't understand. But with me, because it's so hard for me, I'm able to explain it in a way that people who also struggle with it can understand.
So you found a way to provide value to other people, right? And then how do you benefit from that? Well, they watch your videos, they share your videos in other places. You know, it's a matter of, I mean, most of this internet game is getting attention. So if you can get attention with your videos and then, hey, they can come back to your community or Facebook group, maybe you've got affiliate links in your YouTube descriptions. Like there's value. You help other people and you're the one who's going to benefit. Like you almost feel guilty about it.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's like, I like how you said, like, you don't know what you're doing because different parts of it, you don't really know what you're doing in the whole process. You just are like, okay, well, I learned this, so let me show this. And it's like, it starts to build over time. Like I had no idea where Merch Money was going to go, but then it was like, you know, once we started, then it's like, okay, we'll add a podcast and ask Chris Green for the website. And like, you just start building, like over time, it changes and you learn more and figure out things.
Yeah, it works. And like you said at the beginning, like I just gave you the domains, right? Merchmoney.com and merch.money. And I'm not trying to like, you know, toot my own horn and be like, oh, Chris Green's such a nice guy. I don't just give out domains like all the time. But at the same time, I was like, well, am I really ever going to do anything with these? Probably not. I mean, I must have 100 different.
And I did offer to buy it, but
it was like, what do I price it at? Right, like $50. Like I say, oh, it's $400. You're like, well, I don't want it that bad. It's like, you know, but the goodwill of helping you guys. But like, I did it without expectation, right? So if you never had me on the show, or if you're like, you know what, Chris Green used to be cool, and he's gotten really arrogant lately, and screw that guy, and we're not like that could have happened. Right. And that's something I can't control. But at the same time, I was like, look, I'll give them domains. We'll see what happens. I'm glad that they're doing a show. Hey, the show could fall apart. Right. You guys could stop doing the show. And I'm like, oh, shoot. I was hoping I could be on their podcast every now and then. And I get some exposure. And now the whole show is done. Oh, like, but because I didn't have those expectations, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Right. Like,
and you do that all the time to so many people in the community. So it's like, I'm sure sometimes that nothing ever comes of it. And then other times it ends up being way better than you could have ever imagined. And it's like, it's just
it's never a negative, right?
Yeah.
That's what people need to remember. Like, if you could just help people, if you try to provide value to people without this expectation of like, oh, you know, I did that for them and then they like didn't do something for me. Like, that's what kills it. Right. Because if you have that mentality, you're eventually going to be let down. It's just statistics. Right. Like, so you're setting yourself up to be upset and then you're blaming someone else when it's actually your fault. Like, it just doesn't work. Right. Like, it just gets way too complicated.
It's not an abundance mentality where it's like there's plenty for everything. You don't have to like worry if you're getting exactly back what you gave. Like, you just give.
It's just so much fun, and all these things are very inexpensive. Like registering domains doesn't cost a lot of money.
Yeah, talk about domains. So you bought you're very smart about seeing like where things are going and being ahead of it. I feel like you're good at that.
This is an amazing story, and I didn't think this was going to happen. What day was it? Because today's Monday, right? So
I know it's so hard to know days of the week. I'm so surprised I've never missed our show.
It's like an entrepreneur thing, right? Like, you don't get
hard to remember. Like, is it Monday? I don't know.
The guys I play volleyball with, we play on Mondays and Fridays, and I'm always like, is today Monday or Friday? Look at me like, how do you not know what day it is? I'm like, because I play volleyball on Monday, Friday, so these days are very similar. But to them, Friday is like, oh yeah, Friday, we're gonna clock out early. We're gonna go drink beer. We don't have to wake up tomorrow. Like, that's every day,
Yeah.
right? Like there's no, oh, it's Monday, boohoo, like, oh, I missed the weekend.
No.
Like, no, it's like every day is kind of the same. So I think it was Friday. It might have been Saturday. And I was driving with David. David's my son. He's 12 years old. And which day did this come out? All right, I need to find the day because this is going to make a lot more sense. So I was driving with David, and we're up here in New England, and so we got Patriots and all that stuff. So it's all in the news all the time. I got the wrong email. Patriots are all over the news. So there's all this fuss with Antonio Brown, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was a wide receiver on Pittsburgh. Then he got traded or signed or did something with Oakland, and then he wanted to be released. And there was all this back and forth on the internet. So September 7th. Okay, wow, this is a long time ago. September. So that's a Saturday. So yeah, it was almost a week later. David talks about this. He puts out this video. He's trying to get released. He's talking about different drama with his team and all this stuff. So it was pretty late in the day on the 7th. It was definitely nighttime on the East Coast. I haven't told the story before, so I'm not telling it well. I'll tell the David side first. So a week later, right? And then I'll tell the beginning. A week later, David says, "Hey, have you seen what Antonio Brown's been doing? Because now he's been signed by the Patriots. So now, of course, we're talking about him up here." Yeah. He's like, you should. He says to me, "You should make some Ain't No More Games T-shirts for merch," because that was kind of the end of his video where he says, "This is my life. Ain't no more games." And the video was kind of, in my opinion, postured as, the coaches and everybody just telling this guy, like, we don't care about all your individuality. We don't care about what you actually want as a human. Just shut up and play football. Right. Okay. Which could have taken some racist tones. It could have been society. Like it could have, I thought it was going to be more controversial than when it came out. Okay. But I saw this video with like 12,000 views. It's got like, 20 million views at this point. And I was like, that's pretty good. So I stop what I'm doing. I go to the computer. I make a quick Ain't No More Games design. Just basic, very basic, like a kind of a rough font. I got the ain'tnomoregames.com domain. I upload it to merch. It's like 12,000 views into this video. I'm like, this it's been in the news for weeks. Yeah. I'm like, this could get big. So I have to wait until the image is approved before I get the link. So because then I can go back to GoDaddy and have the domain forward to the link. So if you go to ain'tnomoregames.com, it's going to go straight to my merch by Amazon listing. And David, a week later, he's like, "You should put T-shirts up." And I said, "Guess who owns ain'tnomoregames.com and had the first T-shirt up?" And he's like, "I don't know who." It's like me. Like this is what I do, right? Like and it was such a good example of like he's just seen it in the media. He's seeing people use this phrase on Twitter and Instagram, and he's like, a week later, hey, this would make a great T-shirt idea. I was like, yeah, it made a great T-shirt idea a week ago. Right. And it was kind of even like a validation moment for me that like, yeah, hey, like I'm making a bet when no one else thinks that bet is good. Right. And that's kind of a way to look at it. Like when something happens and the domain is still there, right? A new phrase, the president tweets Kofefi, right? Before I remember I went to bed early that night. And then he tweeted that at night. And by the time I woke up, I think it was like 6 a.m, a rare night where I wake up early and I'm like, what everybody's talking about, what the president talking about Kofefi. I'm like, let me see if I can get Kofefi.com. And it was already taken. Right. And if I'd stayed up late, I would have got it. And you know how many people typed in Kofefi.com? Like
so it's smart.
Free traffic.
I never think about that, buying domains for a phrase like that. That is
it's a cheap bet.
Good tip.
Think about it this way. It's I have like Domain Club. I have enough domains with GoDaddy to give me a discount. Otherwise, I think it's like $12.
They did call me about that. I guess I have whatever is just barely enough that they.
Yes, I know all their stuff. It's worth it on your renewals, right? But if say it's $12 full price, it's a cheap bet. Yeah. Right. Register it. You have it for a whole year where you can redirect it to something, or maybe it gets popular and someone wants to buy the domain, whatever it is. And hey, if a year later you're like, you know what, I don't want that anymore, just don't renew it. And you're done. It's $1 a month, right? and it might just work. And you can use, because I would much rather post ain'tnomoregames.com to get your Antonio Brown shirts, which, you know, it sounds like we're selling Antonio Brown. Like, there's no Antonio Browns, there's no name, there's no team, there's no number 84, there's nothing referenced. All it says is Ain't No More Games. I stand by it. You can make those shirts and get them up super fast.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe nothing happens of it. You know, it didn't blow up the way that I thought it would. I thought it would be more popular. Actually, I haven't even checked if I sold any.
And that's another very good point, because people get discouraged. They listen to something like this and they're like, oh, I'm going to do that. Then they, like, you know, a week later, there'll be some kind of phrase. They'll do exactly what you just said and it won't sell. And they'll be like, oh, it didn't work. And they'll never do it again. Instead of just being like,
it doesn't always work.
Yeah, exactly. So that is a really good tip right there about buying the domain. I knew you bought a lot of domains, but I didn't think about it in that specific way of like for a specific shirt. So,
all right, so I'm going to back this up to when it happened, and we'll see exactly how many. Because I think this is kind of a good example of, like, this sounds like a great idea, and oh, I bet Chris Green made a ton of money. And here I am looking at it. And now keep in mind, I never posted this anywhere, so I didn't really like get on it and like follow everybody on Instagram that's using a special hashtag and replying and all this stuff.
Right.
0.
Yeah.
I sold 0 shirts.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe, so I mean, let's do a little extra research, like live here. So I'm going to merchresearch.com. That redirects to a Merch Informer search page. And I'm going to put in quotes, Ain't No More Games. And let's see how many listings are up, because I know more than just my shirts are up at this point. There's only 5. There's only 5. That's it. And I would say that all the other ones are not. They're all from the same person, because they're all using the same font. A couple of them have 84 in the background, which is dumb because he's number 17 on the Patriots anyway, right?
That's when you
and
have
don't put identify, like 84. I would say might get a takedown. I have no fear about mine. You know, I didn't even put in a description or bullet points. Right?
Yeah.
The only people searching for this are people searching for Ain't No More Games. That's it. Right? Like, I don't need to be like, well, I need how, you know, can I put football, you know, and Pittsburgh? Like, no, like, put none of it in.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's the title and the brand. That's it for this one. Right? Now you could take it a step further and say, look, you know, like, how can I promote this? Maybe I want to run ads. You know, does Antonio Brown have a Facebook fan page that I can target with ads? You could certainly do that. I mean, we're talking a little. I'm wearing my white hat, which I wear when, like, we're going to talk about stuff that's not gray hat or black hat. That might be a little gray hat to actively target Antonio Brown's fan page with T-shirts that he's not. I mean, it's a light gray. It's a light gray.
What are you suggesting on Merch Money? Are you trying to get everybody in trouble?
I have a gray hat. I should put on my gray hat for when we talk gray.
All right, gray hat tactics here. So,
but I think people get the idea. I see the chat. I mean, the chat's been great over here.
You're so think of creative things like that. So, is there anything that you think like made, I don't know how to say it, like made you like that? Like, is there anything that you attribute to your forward thinking or your like seeing trends and seeing or is it just like over the years, just kind of like seeing how things unfold and you're like, oh, okay, I did this well. And like this happened like how I thought it would. And
no, it's not as much of a strategy, like, oh, I'm good at this, so I'm going to like really practice and get better at it kind of thing. It's just, I enjoy doing it. Yeah. Right. So it doesn't feel like work at all to be like, ooh, something's trending. Let me see what pieces are out. What can we put together? You know, is it something that could be big enough? That could go viral. Like, I'm not upset that I didn't sell any shirts. I'm actually not surprised because, you know, after that video kind of came out, it wasn't in the news the next day about, oh, Antonio Brown's showing that, you know, the coaches don't care about him and they just want him to shut his mouth and play football, which as for publicity, I was hoping that's the way that it was going to go. I don't have a dog in the fight, so it doesn't matter to me.
I think that you're like too humble. Like, I don't think that you really see that you see things before other people. Like it's like a fact. Like, it's happened over and over and over and over again. Like FBA, merch, and then like on and on and on. The any new thing on Facebook, like the I don't know. You had like Chris.me, right? Or some kind of like
Oh, if you go to m.me, I mean, this is kind of like a little bonus tip for people.
yeah.
Your Facebook profile name or your Facebook page names for you guys that are using pages can be used with Messenger by just typing out letter M, like for Messenger, .me / your username.
Yeah.
So Helen, I forget what your username is. I could find it real quick.
For Helen or Merch Money? I think it's just Merch.
I don't think you even set one. It's giving me like a profile ID number, which I guess would work.
No, I set up a Merch Money one. It should say facebook.com/Merch Money.
/Merch Money? All right, let me check that one. Because this works for profiles as well as, merch. It went to merch.money and then there's no page there.
I don't know. We do have a page and a group.
I'll find it. All right.
It might be
your page
confused
to the group.
Have so many Merch Money groups. Did I tell you about that? We have a Merch Money group in like almost, well, not every language. There's hundreds of languages, but we have
Merch Money Show is your name. That's what it is.
Oh.
Yeah. So you're at Merch Money Show on Facebook. So if anybody just types in m.me / Merch Money Show, it's going to open up Facebook Messenger and send a message there. So I haven't liked your page. So I liked your page now.
Thank you.
I can visit your group. I can send you a message.
Awesome.
I can do all this stuff. But anybody, so that's me. m.me / Chris is my Facebook page, which there's a little secret behind that. And I like having that. It's just a vanity name, right? Like it's not worth money kind of thing. But when I sign my emails with Chris Green, facebook.com / Chris, people are like, huh, that's interesting. Maybe this guy like knows what he's talking about instead of like facebook.com / Chris Green 25. Big money player chains. Like it's called signaling, right? There's actually a word for this stuff. And you're signaling that you're not acting like a professional when your username is Chris G Money, gold chains baller. Like, I get that works in high school, but like when you get to be a professional, like you have to have your own like a .com email address. Don't be using no Hotmail or Yahoo. Like little things like that matter, especially if you're trying to set up a merch relationship with people and have websites. And like it's not hard. Like I typically use G Suite from Google. So I'll get a domain for $8 for a year. I'll sign up for G Suite. Their lowest price plan is $5 a month. That gives you customized email. So you can have, Helen at merchmoney.com. $5 for every account. So you want to have one for Christina, no problem. Another $5. They give you a YouTube account, Google Docs, like the whole suite for $5 a month. And even just a custom email. So you can have a business card or a flyer, or you leave something behind with a restaurant where you're trying to get them on local merch. You have to signal some level of professionalism. Or it's just the way the world works. Is it fair if someone says that guy's got an AOL email address, I would never email them? Like, that's not really fair to judge people by their email domain, but that's what we all do. Right? So for $5 a month, you can avoid that.
Yeah. We should do that. I did that for a business where I did the G Suite and set it up with the @ and then the business name. But for Merch Money, we just have merchmoneyshow@gmail.com. So
it depends what you're doing, right? Like if it's internal or external kind of thing.
Yeah. But so do you feel like you've been like that your whole life, or was there like, I think it's just innate, kind of like how Gary Vee explains like how certain things are just like innate, where he just is like,
it's definitely,
I think it's
like,
innate with you.
Oh, I can think back, and I've been meaning to almost make a list of like all the little side hustle businesses. And it's not that I was trying to build something because, hey, I really want to do this business, or I really want to do this business. Like, no, hey, I see an opportunity here, and it's fun for me to kind of explore it and try it out. And then that's when it kind of gets boring. Like once it's like, oh, okay, that works. Then I'm on kind of to the next thing. And it's a little bit of a curse. So I know, it's meant as a compliment, but it's actually kind of a curse because of living in the world of the internet, right? And actually it's better now than like if I lived in 1900, where like your brain wouldn't have things to work on. You could plow the field and you could bale the hay and go to sleep. And
there was a lot of stuff happening, and when was like Carnegie and Ford and all of them, like
Oh, right, but they didn't have the opportunities we have today. I mean, just
Yeah,
20 years ago, we already talked about how things were different.
yeah,
So like you didn't have a lot of options. And so what we have today, because of things like Amazon and YouTube and Facebook and streaming, we have options. And that's one of the things that I've also kind of felt I've gotten very good at lately is helping people identify their strengths and then
mm-hmm.
help them choose some options so that they can pursue something that will both work and they'll enjoy. Right. Because like what we're doing here right now, this is not the most economical, use of our time right now. Right. We're not sitting here making so much money per hour that like, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm so glad that this is what we get to do for a living.
I really appreciate you being on here.
No, I don't mean it that way. I think don't take it the wrong way. No, I mean it for the people listening to be like, you have to find that balance because people have said, like, you want to make more money, go play football, right? Like, go be Beyonce. You want be an entertainer. You want to make more money. Not everybody's good enough to be an entertainer, but they're the ones who make money. Instead of saying, look, you're really good at this. Like I've met so many people who are really good at hosting podcasts, right? And they would even say, no, I don't think I'm that good. I'm like, you're just better. You have a good demeanor. Everybody likes the sound of your voice. Like all these things. Like not everybody has a good demeanor. Not everybody has a pleasant voice. Like that's just the way it is. But if you can find something you're good at and then find a way to turn it into a business, then now all of a sudden you're making money doing what you like instead of like, oh, I'm glad I'm making money with merch, but I really don't like it. Right? There's plenty of people doing that right now.
Yeah.
They don't like merch. They don't like designing. They don't like the slow upload process, compared to what it could be through an API, which I'm sure will come in the future. But they could be like they could say, you know what, I like making these designs, but they're not selling on my account. Well, hey, why don't you make designs for other people, right? Why don't you make graphic packs that you sell in Creative Market and sell?
People can't have excuses. Like there's a way around.
I don't think people are using it as excuses. Like I said, I've done this long enough that I got a pretty good read on people.
There's so many excuses out there.
Well, a lot of times the excuses, they're overwhelmed.
Right.
They don't realize that something they're good at is actually something that's amazing and could be completely monetized, or that they have an amazing backstory that is going to get them the attention that they need to then offer something for sale or offer mentoring package. I mean, people are underestimating the number of people out there who would pay money every month just to be in a positivity group, just to join a group that meets 30 minutes a day where they say, hey, you guys can do this. Like I know some of you guys had a bad day yesterday. Like, is that for everybody? No. But there are some people that's what they need. And some people will be really good at hosting and kind of adminning a group like that. Like, again, there's so many different things that you can do when you understand the platforms out there. And that's probably what I would say I'm better at, is that I understand all the different platforms out there. I have a good kind of grasp on how you can use them together to build something. At the same time, eliminating some platforms to say, look, I know you want to have 1 million subs on YouTube, but that's not where your audience is. Do this over here. Use KDP to publish and get notoriety, and then deliver content. Sell content through Gumroad and manage subscriptions over. And once they're like, wow, you really think I can do that? And they needed me to kind of give them the confidence, and sometimes it's the permission. Right? They've been told no, that's never going to work, and I'm like, I've told people, and this works, and I'm not trying to like play tricks on people with their psychology. But I remember
the story.
No, I haven't told this. This is a real short story. I don't know which story you're talking about.
The story that I remember you telling is like you would with the FBA days, you would go like shopping with somebody, and
that one.
You have to be like, yes, you're right. That is a good product to buy. Like, here's your permission to go buy it. Like, it's like so easy to explain, to scan something, but the people needed to hear the permission that they were right and that it was the right thing to buy.
No, the one I was going to tell was, I say it's a very short, it's not even a story. I've talked to so many people who they tell me like their backstory, and I tell them, I am so jealous of your story because that is an amazing story. It will get so much attention. It's going to have so much context with so many people. People are going to be able to relate to you in an awesome way that but everybody has their own story. I can't take their story and pretend it happened to me. But they can, and this is a good example of one, and there might be some people listening that this is them. military moms or military wives, right? Who are often, and I'm sure there's husbands supporting their wives, but stereotypically it's probably more men, in the service, and the women who are supporting them and sacrificing by traveling and being away from family and maybe delaying having kids and being at home, solo for long periods of time and not being in one place long enough to get a traditional job and having this burden of saying, I really want to contribute to the family, but I can't. And then when they learn about Merch by Amazon and they're like, this is amazing. This is what military moms need. And I'm like, guess who's the messenger to military moms?
Yeah.
Because it's not me.
Yeah.
It's them. Because they're a military mom. They're a military wife. They're a military girlfriend. They have the context and the network. They literally know dozens and dozens of other military moms. And they can go and say, hey, guys, I know a lot of you guys, that you want to contribute. You have the level of frustration because you can't. Because, I mean, think about it. If you're in a place for 2 months, like, who's going to hire you? Like, I get that struggle. So they can come in and say, hey, I heard about this Merch by Amazon thing on this crazy Merch Money podcast thing. And like, I think we can do this. And they get together and they all help each other. And then all of a sudden they're making some passive income. And imagine the military designs that they can make and sell to all their military community and first respond. Like, but that's their story. Like, I can't hop into that market and be like, hey, I'm not even American. I'm Canadian, right? They're not going to buy anything from me. It doesn't matter how many flags or eagles or stars and stripes has on it at all. But I say these things openly and freely, so the people that are listening be like, oh, I get it, right? Like I'm in a motorcycle club, and for Pete's sakes, I know how hard they work to make shirts for our rallies. Like, I have value that I can offer them, and I say, people that know about Merch by Amazon are the minority. No one else in your motorcycle club knows about Merch by Amazon.
I know. We all think it gets saturated or something, and I'm like, think about your town. Like, how many people are on Merch by Amazon? And like, I've been trying to set up meetups everywhere. There's not a lot of people in each city, so it's really hard to get a good meetup size, because it's like, how many people are in Raleigh, North Carolina? Like, not a lot doing merch.
No, you can network with people online, say, like, join the Facebook groups, all those things. But it's
but I just mean it's wide open. Like, there's not as much. I mean, there is a lot of competition, but it's not as much as it could be. Like, there's not a lot of people who really know about this yet.
I don't want people to think competition, because it is a battle. It's not even a battle. It's providing value, right? If you can provide value to people, it doesn't matter if Gary V comes to town where I live. Some people are going to come see me. Yeah. Because they feel I provide them more. Like, it's not a competition, right? It's really not. If you provide value to people, that's all you have to do. And don't underestimate like the goodwill that comes along with it. And because of Facebook and YouTube and all these things, you can provide value to other people literally for free, other than your time to write a post, other than the 18 seconds it took for you to post some encouraging words to somebody in a Facebook group. Now you're providing value to them. Then they're going to come back and be like, they're going to recommend you. They might buy your products. They're going to share your stream, which means someone else is going to buy it. Like, and I've done all those things, bought all your books. It just works. You're the one that I first learned FBA from, and it was right after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. I started searching passive income online just because it was a concept I hadn't even thought of before, and FBA came up. And then after I searched FBA, your name came up, and that's how the whole thing started. It probably still does, all the FBI. I still got all copies of my books over here. So I watched all your stuff all through 2014, 15, and then eventually, like, I never in a million years would have thought I'd do a show with you or ever meet you. It's crazy. So. Ken Reel's here. Ken is quickly becoming like the godfather of merch, and he's confirming few large brands even know about Merch by Amazon. Like, it's this undercover secret. Like, large brands even know how to set up a proper website. Like, it's ridiculous. I remember, like, oh gosh, who was it? Oh my God, I'm completely forgetting his name. Ty Lopez. Mike? Ty Lopez. Ty, yeah. He was going through like all the major like retailers talking about their websites, like they're trying to do online retail instead of just like in the store, and it was hilarious. Like, he was just like, I forget which one it was, like Kmart or something, was just so funny. Like, it was so bad. Oh, they're behind. It's like, well, Flav is here and Rich is here. These are the guys that are running Ecom Chicago. Are you going to Ecom Chicago?
No, I went to Midwest Econ, but I'm not going to Econ Chicago. But
It'll be a good event. I think I
yes.
might. This is a little bit of like a reveal. I think I might actually offer or reveal my coaching program. That
Ooh,
it's almost like 20 years in the making, kind of
yeah.
thing. Um, so it's planned to be a year-long coaching program.
I was gonna say, I'm
Uh,
like, wait, you don't have coaching already? This is new. Oh my
Not like a
god.
dedicated thing. Like I take plenty of
Wow.
phone calls. And honestly, like by helping so many people for so long, that's
Yeah.
where like, hey, I've got a good grasp on what people need,
Yeah.
like where they get stuck. And with all the different platforms out there, I think it is more of a like people need a year-long coaching program to kind of expose them to different things, help them try things, find what they're really good at. It is a bit of a mind shift or a mindset shift.
Mhm.
It's not something people can come in and say, "Hey, I've been working, a 9 to 5 job for 20 years, and you know what? I'm going to be an entrepreneur." Like it doesn't
It is
happen
a lot.
overnight.
I still struggle, and it's like I felt like I was so I don't know, like I was a manager, so I felt like I was so self-motivated and all of that. But there's still struggles where I'm not thinking like an entrepreneur or thinking correctly or seeing the right way to dedicate my time. Like I get stuck on like just like we were talking about earlier, like stuck on the uploads or stuck on the minutia instead of being like, okay, I need to focus on the most important thing.
Yeah,
So
there's no like real specific or perfect mentors. Like
yeah.
like if you want to do X job, then yeah, you could find someone who's the best in that job. Like no one's the best at this. We're making up the world as we go right now. Right, as Amazon is, they're making up new platforms. They throw them out there for people to try. They don't always work. They break. They're not perfect, and
Yeah.
you know, which is why like it's not like a one-time thing. Uh, let's work together for a year, and yeah, it's going to
I
be
love that.
a pretty powerful offer.
I'm so
Uh,
excited for that. Maybe I'll
I
do
think
it.
everybody there's so much in it in so many different ways that
Because
I
I was
think a
gonna say you
lot of
could
people are
help
going to jump
people
on
at
it.
all different levels. Like,
Well, that's
yeah,
where it is because I've done this
yeah,
long enough that I've
yeah.
got some higher up stuff, but I also I would say not specialize, but I do a great job of helping people who want to get started, who often they don't know what they're good at, or they don't realize what they're good at is actually something that would make an amazing business.
Yeah.
It's often called imposter syndrome, where they're like, "Why would anybody pay me for that?" I'm like, "Dude, you know more about this topic than anybody I've ever met," but they don't think of it as they're an expert. They just really enjoy the topic.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
you know how to set up all these streaming things? Like people would pay you to help them set up video game streaming as esports continues to gain traction. Like, really? There's already YouTube channels about that. Yeah, but not your YouTube channels, and you're really good at it. And you have your own, history and stories and all these things. Like, you
I
really
think it's
think
also
so? Like,
sometimes
yeah.
your negatives, kind of like how I was saying, like I'm really bad with technology. It ended up being a positive because I'm able to explain it to people better. And I think with the military moms, it's the same thing. Like they might have an idea in their head, like, oh, well, I haven't had this career. Like this is a detriment that I'm a military mom. And instead you're
No,
like, no,
it's a
this is your
positive.
strength. Like this is so good. So I think it's a lot of times it's that. It's like you either have something innate so you don't realize it's a strength, or you have something that you look at as
Oh,
something bad that's actually a strength.
it's the exact same thing like you said. Like you're like, you've done this all your life, Chris. Like how'd you get so good at why? Like I get it, but like that's just who I am.
Right.
Right. So I
Right.
don't see it as like, oh, I
Yeah.
learned this and I put
Yeah.
in all the hours and
No.
I earned all that. Like, no, I had a garage sale when I was in kindergarten on a
Yeah.
TV tray out in the yard with my toys. And like I would like wait, I try to flag people to come over and buy my junky broken toys. I was like, what kindergartner does that?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's crazy talk. But everybody has something that they're good at.
Yeah.
And I like to kind of help them find it, and then kind of put the pieces around them that they need, because often they're like, okay, I get that people would pay me money for this, but now what? And I was like, well, I would start a YouTube channel. I would search people on Twitter and Instagram. I would start your own Facebook group that you can run however you want. I would start thinking about what kind of books you could publish so that you would get instant credibility by being a published author around
I remember
your
you talking
topic.
about that. Yep.
It's
Still
all
haven't
pretty basic stuff.
done it. Have not
Uh,
published a book.
well, I'm gonna challenge you then. I think you need to have a book published. Um, I don't want to put a deadline because I don't want to put extra pressure on you, but don't overthink the content of the book. The book could be, you know, the top 10 things I learned in my first 3 years on Merch by Amazon. And you don't do it for money. And you talk about creating a YouTube show, and you talk about how, I'm assuming your first episode was the worst episode, right? Like you probably started late.
We didn't go live, luckily. Like we decided to do like a practice one because none of us had done it before.
Sure.
And I had somehow done this like YouTube search for like a webcam thing, and somewhere it showed like, oh, you can use your phone as a webcam. So I used my phone instead of just buying a webcam for some reason, and it was like an app where you were supposed to pay for the app, but I hadn't paid for it. So when we started, it just had like advertisements running across my face. I'm like, what if that had been our first show? It's so hilarious.
That's a great chapter, though. Right?
We still have it.
I don't have that story. It's your
unpublished,
story.
But it's hilarious.
No,
it's
you
just
can take
like,
a screenshot from it and post it. And again, don't overthink it. It's just to have a book. And then now you have a book both on Kindle and paperback. You have something that you can give away. So on every show, you could say, hey guys, you know, drop your email, you know, sign up here. We're going to pick, you know, a winner, and you could pick more than one winner, right? Like you could honestly give the book to everybody who emails you.
That's
sure,
the
why
trick.
not?
That's the trick at those restaurants where they're like, drop your business card for like a lunch catering something.
The smart ones give it to everybody.
They call every single person. Yep.
Every single one. But I would do this. So let's. I know we're kind of going over time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We can.
No, I think people should be thinking like, wait a minute, why would she give away books? It's like, well, now you have their email address.
Yeah.
Right. So I want people to remember, like we're talking about things that you can do. We're talking about it right in front of you guys.
Yeah.
Right. So you're like, hey, I want all your email addresses that are here. Okay, I'm going to set up a website that has a good offer. Like you can get a free download of the book, or you can go all the way and say, look, I will mail you a copy of the book. It'll cost you about $4 to $5 to physically mail someone a copy of your book. But if it's the right audience, and they're gonna be like, wow, Helen, I can't believe she wow, that's like impressive, right? So now you're attempting to acquire a customer or a fan or an advocate for $5, right? Businesses spend a heck of a lot more than $5 to get people to buy their products, right? They're running all these ads, and you can do it by giving away. And it's like, give away digital. It doesn't have to cost you money.
Yeah.
Sign up here, you know, give me your email. I'll send you, you'll get a free instant download of my book. It's got this great information. You don't do it with expectation. Most of them won't read it anyway. That's just the statistics. But now you have their email address. Now you're building an email list of people who are interested in merch. And you can say, look, like, and for 3 out of every 4 weeks, you just send them valuable information. This is what I learned today. Hey, did you see this new update? All this stuff. So they stay up to date by reading your emails. And then the last email or the last week of the month, you email them something that has affiliate links in it. Or, hey guys, we made this new extension. You can download. It's $9.99 a month. You know, whatever it is, they're going to read your offers. They're going to consider buying your products because you've given them so much value up front. Now they might not, but they're not going to like unsubscribe. They're not going to be like, oh, she sent me a book. She emailed me all this helpful information. And then she dared to let me know about an extension. No, unsubscribe. Like it doesn't happen. And if they do, who cares? Like
it's happened once in our group so far.
Wait, somebody fussed?
Somebody got mad because we did an affiliate link for Creative Fabrica.
Whatever. Like, I would ignore that so hard. Like they would have to post again. Hey, did you see that I'm fussing at you? I'd be like, I didn't, because I'm not paying attention to you.
She did write more than once. But anyway, thank you so much. That was like, I'm just looking at the time. That was 13-minute coaching call I just got. Like,
you can do all this stuff right now. So I think it's on your audience now to hold you to it.
That's Chris's coaching right there. He just did 13 minutes live for all you guys for me.
All right. So by next month, you have to at least have like an outline.
An outline. Okay.
Is that enough time? Because you could have the whole book done in a month.
How long should the book be? What should my goal be? Like and I'm thinking about
it's 24 pages is the minimum.
Just write it.
That's only 12 pages. So, I mean, the advice I like to give, because most people can write a top 10 list.
Okay.
Right? Top 10 things you learn. Like if it's a real estate agent, top 10 things new homeowners should buy. If it's a car salesman, top 10 things you should know before, top 10 differences between leasing and buying. Like, don't overthink. It just has to be some kind of list of 10 things I learned from maybe you do a transitioning from 9 to 5 manager to full-time entrepreneur. 10 things I didn't expect. And like just think about it. Take your phone, write little notes. Be like, oh, you know what? That would make a good chapter.
If nothing else, it'll be a blog post because I still don't have a blog. I've been really wanting to do a blog.
What here?
Website.
All right, we're gonna give you some more coaching because this is just too perfect. All right, so do a blog, and I would do this. So write a 10-chapter book.
Turn it into a book, maybe.
Well, you could do it both ways, right? You could write the whole thing, and then release each chapter as a blog post because you're not writing this book for money.
Yeah.
Right. So you can release the content all kinds of different places. I would do 10 different videos of you literally reading each of the chapters and upload them to YouTube. And at the end, say, hey guys, if you want the whole book, the link's in the description or bit.ly.com or bit.ly/Helen's book. Right. Like you're just giving this away. You're not doing it for money, but because people are like, oh, I've listened to 3 chapters. I love her information. I'm gonna go buy the book. And then once they buy the book, I mean, here's a ninja strategy.
Oh, look at Rich. He said 10 things I learned from Chris Green.
that's a good book.
The Chris Green keyword in there.
You can piggyback on my fame and all that. Yeah. But you could put this is a trick that I haven't done yet, but I'm dying to try, is to put some kind of offer or redemption in a self-published book through KDP that says to get your redemption or to get your bonus content or to unlock this feature, email me your Amazon receipt. Right?
You haven't done that? I feel
not that specific. Right. I've had send me your order number so I actually verify that they actually ordered something. Not that can't be faked. I don't know if it's a real order number, right? Like it doesn't mean anything. But it makes them at least say, I really did buy it. And like most people aren't willing to actually lie at that extent.
Right.
But by getting their Amazon order email, you now have their address. Right? Which means you can surprise.
Is this a white hat tactic or a gray hat, or is this?
I should really read the KDP thing before I do this.
You might have to switch to your gray hat for that one.
Well, I want to be. I don't think there's anything in the KDP guidelines that says you can't solicit information from within the book. I mean, the book is what it is. I mean, heck, I could publish a book outside of KDP and send it to Amazon receipt, so I can verify that you bought it new from Amazon, because that means I get royalty, right? If you buy used from Amazon, if you buy from third party, I ain't getting no royalty.
I have sold a Chris Green book used on Amazon.
Right. Yeah, I don't make any money on that, which is all right.
Bought it and then I sold it.
But this is the next phase of this. So this isn't for the cheapy book. This would be like for maybe a more expensive book, like like advanced merch tips and tricks or whatever. Now you have their address and their email address, and you can surprise and delight them.
Surprising. That does not mean showing up at their house.
No, you send them something like a surprise package in the mail, and they get it, and they're like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. Maybe it's got like a gift card for a t-shirt, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe it's $100 book, and you're going to send them a link to a t-shirt, like a very specific, merch money supporter t-shirt with a $12 gift card, because you price it at cost, like $11.80 or whatever it is. You send them a $12 gift card, which they can or cannot use for the shirt, right? Like maybe they don't use it, but then they can buy whatever color, whatever size. You don't have to ask them. You don't have to inventory. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You can include merch money, sunglasses. You can include like maybe a little $20 prize pack that you send to them as a gift. They're gonna be like, this is amazing. But your $100 book, you made $70 on. Yeah. Right. So now you got some money to keep them happy, and now they're gonna come back. They're gonna, hey guys, you got to buy this book, because then Helen's gonna send you this sweet, and everybody's gonna want the glasses, right? Exclusive. The only place you can get them is by buying this over here. Yeah. There's so many cool things that you can do, and that's again where my coaching comes in. Depending on what someone wants to do and what they're good at, we're putting different pieces together in different ways. Like this strategy isn't going to work for everybody. Yeah. But I am dying to try it around $100 book, getting that information.
I love that one book. I don't know if you posted it or somebody posted it, but they're like, how I made, I don't even know the amount, like how I made $1 million in a year or something like that. And then the price of the book was $1 million. Or like whatever it was. It was like how I made X amount of money, and that's how much the book was.
There are great books that have kind of like goof titles and like spoof titles.
Yeah.
I think more people should do that. I mean, and you can do that with the notebooks and the journal type stuff where you can have a funny. There's people who do print out fake books to read on the subway that with like very inappropriate titles, right? So it's like you're really reading about that on the subway, like,
Yeah.
and you could do that with just a notebook on KDP, right?
Yeah, like how to get someone not to sit next to you or something, and it's like some kind of disease or something you're reading about.
How to pass gas silently in crowded spaces.
Yeah, exactly.
And people be like, what's good? It's just a blank book, right? Like,
yeah.
There's lots of things you can do. So I know we talked about some more advanced stuff. I think we probably went over people's heads.
For my 20-minute coaching call. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for coming on the show twice. Such an honor. And
am I your first repeat guest?
We've had a couple. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right.
You can come on again next week, and then you'll be our first 3-time guest.
No, we gotta space it out. Maybe by the time we get close, because I want to launch my coaching closer to the end of the year. So that might be something. Yeah, because I mean, it'll have.
And by then, I'll have my book out, so we could talk about that.
Oh, you better. All right, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that as the year gets closer to ending. It's only September right now,
so much time to get this book out. So do it.
Don't think of it that way. Deadlines.
Well, that's true. Not what I meant, but yes, get it done.
I do got to give you one more piece of advice, just because this is important.
Okay.
Because I caught you saying it more than once, where you were saying, "I'm just not good at it. Yeah. I'm not good at technology. Yeah. I'm not this." And this is advice that people have given to me. And I say I've done this long enough. I've worked with some fairly high-powered internet marketers that I'm not trying to name drop, but a lot of the people that you'll know. Yeah. And they've told me a lot of the same things, because I would constantly say, I'm not organized, I'm not good at that. And they said, if you keep saying it, then it's going to be true. Yeah. And I've been remembering that. Like, I didn't have to have someone else tell. Like, if they're saying it, they're saying it for a reason. So I've been trying to myself say, look, I'm not going to say that I'm unorganized. Like, I'm going to get better at being organized, and I'm not going to worry about the past. So catch yourself when you say, oh, I'm not good at that. Now say, look, hey, I wasn't good at that, but I'm getting better at it. Right. And your mind shift your mindset will shift. Not always instantly, but slowly, because you got to catch yourself saying it. Like, oh, I said it again. Like, why am I saying that? Like, why am I putting myself down? Because we'll use it as an excuse. We'll be like, oh, well, I'm not surprised. I'm not, my desk is messy because I'm unorganized. Instead of saying, oh, you know what? I'm going to clean my desk because I'm not an unorganized person. Yeah. And the more you say I'm not an unorganized person, the closer you're going to get. You're going to move forward and forward to say, like, now I'm not unorganized anymore. Like, we're a product. Like things will manifest themselves.
Another version of an excuse. It's like, well,
it is absolutely.
Yeah.
But we laugh at it because, like, I'm just not good at that. But no, it's an excuse.
It is an excuse. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not just for you, Helen. That's for everyone else that's listening.
Yes. And I have pushed past it somewhat because I was doing the videos explaining how to do the software. So I don't let it hold me back. So that's good.
Everybody can get better at everything.
Yeah. So look, thank you guys all for watching. We got Ken in here, Rich, Jacob.
Yeah, I'll see Rich like another week. Ecom Chicago.
So exciting. You guys are hopefully somebody's going to be doing videos. Are you going to do a YouTube video or someone do a video while you guys are at this conference?
I don't know if we'll stream it because it's kind of like, hey, you gotta give the value to the people that are there.
No, I just mean like, before or after, be like, hey guys, we're here. But anyway.
I'm sure some people will post some of that.
Somebody will. Well, have a great time, you guys. And everybody should go to that conference. Rich, you want to put a link or somebody have a link to get tickets?
Rich has a code somewhere. He can probably post it.
Yeah, post it in the chat or after the video.
It's a very inexpensive conference. The tickets they're not doing this to make money. They've done it for 6 years now to kind of really help the community. It's built off of a large eBay group that they meet monthly up there in Chicago. Chicago's easy to get to. They have two big airports. The number of people within a 6-hour drive, which I would say is, drive 3 hours in the morning, eat lunch, drive 3 hours, and you're there, right? Like, that's not too far to go in a day. Yeah. Go to this event. You're going to meet other people that are kind of in the same boat as you, as far as wanting to make extra money online. It might be able to help you get over some struggle that you're having. Like, going to events is probably the best way to kind of fast track success and start hanging out with other people who are going to support you, instead of what's typically happening is people's friends, family, neighbors, coworkers think what we do is crazy. They don't think it's real. They think we're bums, or they're not supportive. I don't mean always in a malicious way, but just, hey, I thought you're supposed to get a 9-to-5 job after you go to school. Like, no, I want to do something else. And because it's different, they'll often put it down or dismiss it. And, it can lead to an isolating type feeling for people that are trying to do these things. And, they only get some outreach or connection through Facebook groups. Yeah. But you go to these events, now you have connection in real life.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Was there any last thing you wanted to say? Did we forget anything?
That's it. We're way over time.
We're way over. Really appreciate you coming on, and we'll see you at the end of the year or whenever you do your coaching program.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Bye, guys.